General the Lord Annette, I am here to render the dues of wine to you. During the Middle Ages, successive kings believed it was their right to extract taxes from vessels on the Thames. On the king's behalf, the Constable of the Tower of London was empowered to demand these taxes as a perquisite of his office. The city often resented this and frequently made representations to the king that the constable was acting unjustly. So in 1381, King Richard II issued a grant that set out in detail what he believed to be a fair list of tolls, one of which required that every galley or ship passing the tower should present 2 roundlets of wine to the constable. Such tolls continued to the 17th century, when the volume of traffic on the Thames had increased to such an extent that this was no longer feasible. The ceremony you are witnessing today is a tradition derived from those days of tolls and the constable's extensive powers as the sovereign's representative. We welcome His Netherland Majesty's ship Johan de Witt to pay her dues. Zr.Ms.Johan de Witt was commissioned into service in 2006 and is a landing platform dock, a special type of ship that carries marines and embarked troops for amphibious operations. She has deployed 3 times on anti-piracy duties off the coast of Africa, most recently returning in May this year after a 5-month tour of duty as part of the European anti-piracy mission. Today, she is berthed at Greenwich as part of the Dutch Navy celebrations commemorating 350 years of the Dutch Marine Corps, and also as a sign of the continued close friendship between our 2 countries, their navies and marine corps. The captain, with an escort of shore party of sailors, brings the dues, a keg of wine carried on a spar by 2 naval ratings. He carried them to the tower where he was greeted a few minutes ago at the West Gate by the yeoman jailer and 2 yeoman warders wearing full state dress. The chief yeoman warder then paraded the Jews through the tower to Tower Green, where the Jews are now presented by the ship's captain, Captain René Loyx, to the Constable of the Tower of London, General the Lord Dannet.
Wacht. Zwaar op de haak.
Constable of the ancient palace and fortress of Her Majesty's Tower of London, greeting. Whereas King Richard II in 1381, the 4th year of his reign, granted certain fees pertaining to the constable, be it noted that we read those this day which treat wine. The King our Sovereign maketh the constable of the Tower of London, and giveth in fee yearly for keeping of it. Item. The said constable shall have of every galley that cometh 2 roundlets of wine, and of all manner of dainties a great quantity. Item. The said constable shall have of every ship that cometh with wines 2 bottles, either of them containing a gallon, one before, the other after the mast. Item. The lieutenant shall have of every galley that cometh a roundlet of wine, and, in the absence of the constable, of every ship 2 bottles as aforesaid. And whereas King Richard II in the 6th year of his reign renewed these grants pertaining to the constable, which he stated to run from time immemorial. Item. From every ship laden with wine from Bordeaux or elsewhere, coming to the said city, 1 flagon before, and another from behind the mast. Whereas I am captain of His Netherlands Majesty's ship Johan de Witt, I render due fee of wine to you as constable with good grace.
Captain Lux, I thank you, sir, for the handsome discharge of your dues. As constable, I accept them with gratitude, as does the lieutenant, who is also on parade, accept his share with gratitude also. When we have seen your dues safely bestowed behind me in the Coeur de Lion room, let us adjourn to the Royal Armouries and refresh ourselves.
Prutser. Ja. Sleept dat ding over de grond.
Array will march off. By the right, Whitehall. Quick, march!
Lachen, Rodi. Deze smek over dat steentje. Scheidlijsters gingen toch voor me staan, hè?
Ja.
Tikje op zijn schouder en
hij had meteen de boodschap meteen, hè?
de muggen met die gasten.